There comes a moment in life when everything feels uncertain. The plans you held so tightly may fall apart, the path you thought was yours may vanish, and the people you depended on may no longer walk beside you. In those moments, frustration and fear often rise. But what if I told you that these very moments are not endings, but invitations? The universe has a way of guiding us, not through straight lines, but through twists, detours, and delays. Every closed door is a redirection. Every delay is a form of protection. And every challenge is a quiet whisper asking, will you trust me? Trusting the universe does not mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means aligning your energy with faith rather than fear. It means believing that even if you can't see the next step, the ground will appear beneath your feet when you take that leap. The real journey begins when you release control of how things should unfold and open yourself to how they will. When you learn to let go of resistance, you make space for clarity. And in that space, the universe can finally deliver what was always meant for you. So when this message finds you, know this: you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The setbacks are not punishments, they are lessons. The waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation. And the silence is not emptiness, it is guidance waiting for your attention. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that you are not walking this path alone. The universe is your silent partner, and when you allow it to lead, your journey truly begins. Faith over fear is not just a phrase, it is a way of living that transforms every part of your journey. Fear is the instinct that whispers in your ear every time you consider stepping into the unknown. It tells you that you are not ready, that you are not enough. That failure will be waiting for you if you dare to move forward. Faith, on the other hand, speaks quietly but powerfully. It tells you that even if you cannot see the entire path, there is a greater plan unfolding, one that will only be revealed when you take that first courageous step. Choosing faith over fear means choosing to trust that there is more to your life than what you can control, predict, or guarantee. Every single person faces moments where fear tries to dominate. It appears when you think about changing direction, when you are asked to let go of something familiar, or when life forces you into situations you never imagined. Fear thrives in uncertainty, and yet life itself is uncertainty. That is why faith is so essential. Faith is not the absence of doubt, it is the decision to move forward despite doubt. It is standing in the middle of confusion and saying, I believe something greater is guiding me, even if I cannot see it right now. When you shift your energy into faith, you create space for miracles, opportunities, and breakthroughs that fear would have blocked from ever reaching you. Think about how many dreams are abandoned because fear convinced someone to stop before they started. Fear will say, what if you fail? Faith responds, but what if you fly? Fear says, people will laugh at you. Faith answers, the right people will be inspired by you. Fear asks, what if it all goes wrong? And faith gently reminds, what if it all goes right? This is the battle that plays out in the heart of every person who dares to dream beyond their comfort zone. The ones who choose faith are the ones who step into lives they never thought possible. They are not necessarily the most talented, the most prepared, or the most qualified. They are the ones who chose to move forward even when fear told them to stand still. Living by faith does not mean ignoring your challenges. It does not mean pretending that pain, disappointment, or uncertainty do not exist. It means choosing to believe that those challenges are not the end of your story. It means trusting that every setback is a setup, every delay is protection, and every struggle carries a lesson that will eventually serve you. Fear convinces you that struggles are punishments. Faith reveals that struggles are preparation. With faith, you begin to see life as a teacher rather than an enemy. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That simple shift transforms suffering into growth and obstacles into stepping stones. The truth is, fear is loud and immediate. It demands your attention because it thrives on urgency. It shouts, act now, protect yourself, don't take risks. Faith is quiet and patient. It does not force itself on you. It waits for you to choose it. That is why it often feels easier to fall into fear, because fear requires no effort. Faith, on the other hand, is a discipline. It is a daily choice to rise above doubt and hold on to belief, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. Faith says, I trust the process. I trust the timing. I trust that what is meant for me will not pass me by. This mindset shifts the way you walk through life. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of the unknown, you begin to welcome it as part of the adventure. Faith over fear also means believing in yourself as much as you believe in the universe. It means recognizing that the same power that created galaxies, oceans, and stars also placed gifts, talents, and potential within you. Fear tries to shrink you down to the mistakes of your past, the opinions of others, and the limits of your current circumstances. Faith reminds you that your past does not define you, that opinions cannot imprison you, and that circumstances are temporary. Faith whispers that you are bigger than what you are going through and stronger than what you have survived. When you root yourself in that truth, you step into a new level of confidence. Not because you know the outcome, but because you trust yourself to walk through whatever the outcome may be. There will always be reasons to be afraid. The world is unpredictable. Life does not always go according to plan. But fear only focuses on what you might lose, while faith focuses on what you might gain. Fear is obsessed with control, while faith thrives in surrender. Fear imagines the worst-case scenario, while faith opens the door to possibilities you cannot yet imagine. Every day you are faced with the choice between these two voices. Every decision you make either strengthens the hold of fear or expands the reach of faith. And over time, those choices build a life that reflects the energy you consistently choose. When you live with fear, life feels heavy, every risk feels dangerous, every change feels threatening, and every setback feels permanent. But when you live with faith, life feels lighter. Even in hard times, there is a sense of trust, a quiet knowing that somehow, someway, this too shall pass and what lies ahead is worth the wait. Faith gives you resilience because it reminds you that storms are temporary. Fear makes you fragile because it convinces you that storms are permanent. The choice between the two determines whether you give up at the first sign of difficulty or whether you rise stronger with every test. Faith is also contagious. When you live with faith, the people around you feel it. They see the way you carry yourself, the way you keep moving forward despite obstacles, and the way you believe in possibilities that others have given up on. Your courage inspires courage in others. Your trust creates trust in others. And your refusal to let fear define your journey gives others permission to step into their own faith. Choosing faith is not only about you, it ripples outward, touching lives you may never even know. The universe responds to the energy you carry. When you lead with fear, you attract situations that confirm your doubts. When you lead with faith, you attract opportunities that align with your belief. Life reflects what you choose to believe about it. If you believe the world is against you, it will feel that way. If you believe the universe is guiding you, you will begin to notice signs, synchronicities, and alignments that prove it. Faith opens your eyes to possibilities that fear keeps hidden. Faith over fear is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. It is reminding yourself each morning that today you choose to believe, today you choose to trust, today you choose to walk forward, even if the path is unclear. It is a commitment to rise above the doubts that try to hold you back and to replace every "what if I fail" with "what if this works?" The more you practice this mindset, the stronger it becomes, until faith is no longer something you have to force. It becomes who you are. Redirection, not rejection, is one of the most powerful truths you can embrace when life does not unfold the way you expected. Every person has faced a door that closed suddenly, a plan that collapsed, or a path that seemed so certain only to disappear without warning. In those moments, it is easy to believe you have failed, that you were not good enough, or that you were abandoned by fate. But what feels like rejection in the moment is often the universe gently guiding you towards something far better. Something you could not yet see. Redirection is a form of protection. It is life moving you away from places, people, and opportunities that may have harmed you, limited you, or kept you small, and pointing you toward experiences that will expand you, strengthen you, and align with who you are becoming. Think about the times you desperately wanted something to work out. A job you were sure was perfect, a relationship you thought would last forever, a goal you chased with everything inside you, only to see it slip away. At first, the pain feels unbearable because your heart and mind were so set on that one vision. But when you look back months or years later, you often realize why it did not work out. The job you wanted may have kept you stuck in mediocrity, while the rejection pushed you to discover a career that ignited your soul. The relationship that ended may have devastated you, but it freed you to grow into a version of yourself that attracted healthier love. The opportunities that vanished created space for ones you never could have imagined. The truth is, Rejection often feels like punishment, but in time you begin to see it was actually preparation. The universe knows what you cannot yet see. It knows the people who are not meant to stay in your life, the opportunities that are not aligned with your purpose, and the paths that would lead you away from your highest potential. So when a door closes, it is not the universe saying you are unworthy. It is the universe saying, this is not your door. Your door is still ahead. Every detour you are forced to take is guiding you closer to where you are meant to be, even if the journey feels longer and more complicated than you would like. The path of alignment is rarely straight. It bends, twists, and curves in ways that often do not make sense until much later. But every turn serves a purpose, and every delay holds a lesson. What if you began to see rejection not as a wall, but as a signpost? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? What if you ask, where is this guiding me? This single shift in perspective can change everything. Suddenly, what once felt like loss becomes direction. What felt like failure becomes feedback. And what felt like abandonment becomes guidance. The pain may still be real, but beneath that pain is the quiet assurance that something better is being prepared. The energy you carry determines how you move through those moments. If you believe rejection defines you, you will shrink and close off. But if you believe rejection redirects you, you will stay open, hopeful, and ready to see where life is leading you. The most powerful transformations often come from the very places you thought were endings. A door that slams shut is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a chapter you have not yet read. The people who walked away are not proof that you are unworthy. They are proof that they were not part of your highest journey. The plans that fell apart are not evidence of failure. They are evidence that a greater plan is unfolding. Rejection hurts because it shakes the illusion of control. It forces you to admit that no matter how much you plan, you cannot control everything. But in that surrender, in that moment of letting go, you create space for the universe to step in and guide you to something more aligned. Think about how many times in your life you were convinced that something was the best it could ever be, only to later realize it was just the beginning. You may have believed you had already found your greatest love, your greatest success, or your greatest opportunity, but life had more waiting for you. You did not lose what was meant for you, because what is meant for you cannot be taken away. What you lost were things that were no longer aligned, things that would have held you back from becoming who you are meant to be. The universe is not in the business of punishing you. It is in the business of refining you, shaping you, and preparing you for greater alignment. Rejection also teaches resilience. Every time you rise after being told no, every time you keep going after a door slams in your face, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. That strength becomes part of your foundation, something that will carry you through future storms. You begin to see that rejection is not a sign that you are weak, but an opportunity to discover how powerful you truly are. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never faced rejection. They are the ones who learn to see rejection as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. Redirection also deepens trust. When you are forced off a path you thought was right, you must lean on faith to believe that another path exists. At first, it may feel like walking blindfolded, but over time you begin to notice signs, opportunities, synchronicities, unexpected encounters that show you the universe has been guiding you all along. You realize that life was never against you. It was always aligning you with something greater. This trust creates peace even in uncertainty. Instead of resisting change, you begin to flow with it, knowing that every shift is leading you closer to the life you were meant to live. There will be times when rejection feels unbearable, when you question everything and doubt whether life has any purpose. But those are the very moments when the seeds of redirection are planted. Out of endings come beginnings, out of loss comes growth. Out of rejection comes alignment. It may take time for the picture to become clear, but trust that clarity always arrives. What you see as rejection today may be the very reason you step into your greatest breakthrough tomorrow. The doors that close are not punishments. They are invitations to walk through new ones that open to opportunities you could not have imagined when you were standing at the old ones. Surrender to timing is one of the most difficult yet liberating lessons life will ever teach you. Human beings are conditioned to want everything now, to demand results immediately, to set deadlines on dreams and force outcomes on a schedule that feels comfortable. But life does not unfold on your clock. It unfolds on the clock of the universe, a clock that knows far more than you about what is ready, what is aligned, and what will serve your growth. Every time you fight that timing, you create frustration. Every time you try to rush what is not ready, you plant seeds in soil that has not yet been prepared. And every time you cling desperately to your own timeline, you miss the beauty of the divine one. Surrendering to timing does not mean giving up on your dreams. It means releasing the desperate need to control when and how those dreams arrive. It is trusting that just because something has not yet happened does not mean it never will. It is believing that the delay is not denial but preparation. There are times when you are ready in your mind but not in your spirit, times when you are ready in your heart but not in your environment, and times when you are ready to receive but the people, places, and opportunities that will align with you are still being shaped. The universe arranges things with precision, aligning pieces you cannot yet see, creating connections you could never orchestrate on your own. If it gave you everything when you asked for it, you might not be ready to hold it, to protect it, or to grow it. That is why surrender is necessary. It allows life to unfold in the way that will serve you best, not simply the way you imagined. Patience is not weakness. It is strength disguised as stillness. It takes courage to wait when every part of you is screaming for progress, when fear is telling you that you are falling behind, when you see others moving ahead while you remain in the same place. But your journey is not their journey. Your timing is not their timing. What arrives for you will not arrive late, and it will not arrive early. It will arrive when it is supposed to. Trusting that truth gives you peace in moments when impatience threatens to consume you. It shifts your focus from comparing to preparing, from demanding to allowing, from pushing to flowing. Surrendering to timing also means recognizing the wisdom of delays. Sometimes the very things you beg for are withheld because they would harm you if you received them too soon. Imagine being handed success before you develop the discipline to sustain it, love before you learn to love yourself, or freedom before you understood responsibility. What feels like waiting is actually protection, a pause that gives you space to grow into the version of yourself who can fully receive and appreciate what is meant for you. The universe does not withhold to punish, it withholds to prepare. Every delay has a lesson hidden inside it. Every pause is an invitation to refine yourself, and every season of waiting is fertile ground for transformation. Control is the enemy of surrender. The more you try to force life to move according to your plan, the more resistance you create. You may get temporary results, but they will not bring the fulfillment you imagined because they were not aligned with the right time. Have you ever forced something only to later realize it fell apart just as quickly as it came together? That is what happens when timing is ignored. But when you allow things to unfold naturally, when you trust that what is meant for you will arrive without you having to manipulate, beg, or force, the results are deeper, stronger, and longer lasting. There is ease in alignment, and that ease is the gift of surrender. Surrender is not passive, it is active trust. It is not sitting back and doing nothing, but moving forward with faith while releasing the need to control every outcome. It is doing your part while trusting that the rest is being orchestrated beyond your view. It is planting the seeds, watering them, tending the soil, and then trusting that the harvest will come in its season. You do not stand over a garden screaming at it to grow faster because you know that growth has its own rhythm. Life is the same. Your dreams have their own rhythm, and no amount of impatience will speed them up without compromising their beauty. When you look back on your life, you will see evidence of perfect timing. You will see moments when opportunities appeared at exactly the right moment, when people entered your life at the precise time you needed them, when doors opened just as you were prepared to walk through them. At the time you may have thought you were waiting too long or being left behind, but later you realized that the universe was never late. It was aligning everything so that when the moment came it would be undeniable. Remembering those moments gives you the strength to trust in the timing of what has not yet arrived. Fear often disguises itself as impatience. It whispers that if something does not happen now, it will never happen. It convinces you that waiting is a sign of failure. But surrendering to timing is the opposite of failure. It is a declaration of trust. It is saying, I believe in my path so deeply that I will not rush it. I trust in my future so fully that I do not need to force it. I know that what is mine cannot be taken, so I release the need to cling. That kind of trust is magnetic. It draws the right people, opportunities, and circumstances to you because you are no longer operating from desperation but from faith. The art of surrender is also the art of presence. When you stop obsessing over the future and when your blessings will arrive, you begin to notice the gifts already surrounding you. You realize that waiting is not empty. It is filled with moments of growth, connection, and discovery. Life is happening right now, not just in the future you are waiting for, When you embrace the present, you realize that timing is not just about the big moments arriving. It is about the small moments shaping you into the person who will be ready when they do. Surrendering to timing is a lesson you will revisit again and again. Every new dream, every new desire, every new season will test your ability to trust the unseen. But each time you choose surrender over control, you grow stronger in faith. You learn to flow with life instead of fighting against it. You learn to dance with the rhythm of the universe rather than tripping over your own impatience. And in that dance, you discover that life was never late, never wrong, never against you. It was always perfectly timed, perfectly guided, and perfectly aligned. Lessons in stillness are some of the most overlooked yet powerful truths life has to offer. In a world that constantly demands speed, productivity, and action, stillness feels uncomfortable. People are told to keep moving, keep grinding, keep achieving, as if slowing down is a weakness or a sign of failure. Yet the universe often whispers its greatest lessons not in the noise of activity, but in the silence of pause. Stillness is not the absence of progress, it is the presence of awareness. It is the space where clarity emerges, where healing takes place, and where direction becomes visible. Without stillness, life feels like a blur of endless movement, but with stillness, you begin to see the patterns, the lessons, and the opportunities that were hidden in plain sight. When life forces you into stillness, it can feel like punishment. Perhaps a door closed, a plan collapsed, or a season of waiting stretched longer than you wanted. The natural reaction is frustration, because the mind equates stillness with stagnation. But stillness is not stagnation, it is preparation. Think about the seed buried in the soil. On the surface, nothing appears to be happening, but beneath the ground, roots are forming, foundations are being set, and growth is quietly beginning. In the same way, your seasons of stillness are not wasted. They are seasons where the universe is preparing you for growth that cannot yet be seen. Stillness gives you the chance to build the inner strength, patience, and clarity that will sustain you when movement begins again. In stillness, you meet yourself. The business of life often distracts you from your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own truth. When everything slows down, you are left face to face with your inner world that can be uncomfortable at first because silence reveals what noise hides. The fears, doubts, and insecurities you have been avoiding rise to the surface, but within that discomfort is an invitation to listen, to heal, and to release. Stillness allows you to confront the parts of yourself that need attention, the wounds that need tending, and the dreams that need acknowledgement. It is in those quiet moments that you begin to understand who you are, what you value, and where you are truly meant to go. Stillness also sharpens your intuition. When the world is loud, it is easy to mistake other people's voices for your own. Expectations, opinions, and outside pressures drown out your inner guidance. But when you create space for stillness, your inner voice grows louder. You begin to notice the subtle nudges, the quiet whispers, the feelings that point you toward what is right for you. Intuition is like a soft melody that is always playing, but you cannot hear it in the chaos. It requires stillness to tune in. And when you do, you discover that your intuition has always been guiding you. It was just waiting for you to listen. There is also wisdom in the waiting that stillness brings. Life does not always give you immediate answers. Sometimes you must sit in uncertainty, trusting that clarity will arrive when the time is right. Stillness teaches patience, and patience teaches trust. You learn that you do not need to have everything figured out right away, that it is okay to live in the questions for a while. The answers you seek are not outside of you, they are within you, and stillness is the key that unlocks them. But those answers reveal themselves only when you stop chasing and start allowing. In stillness, you also learn the art of surrender. You recognize that not everything can be controlled and not everything needs to be rushed. There is power in allowing life to unfold rather than constantly trying to force it. Stillness teaches you that surrender is not defeat, it is alignment. It is the understanding that you are not meant to carry the weight of everything, that some things are better left in the hands of time, of faith, of the universe. Surrender in stillness is the quiet confidence that what is meant for you will arrive without struggle, without force, without desperation. One of the greatest lessons of stillness is that it creates space for gratitude. When you slow down, you begin to notice the blessings you often overlook in the rush of daily life. The small details, the quiet moments, the simple joys that were invisible before suddenly become clear. Gratitude is born in awareness, and awareness is born in stillness. You begin to see that even in seasons of waiting, you are surrounded by abundance. Even when nothing appears to be moving, life is offering you gifts in the present moment. Gratitude in stillness turns waiting from frustration into appreciation. reminding you that every season has value. Stillness also deepens resilience. When you learn to be at peace in the pause, you stop fearing the quiet. You realize that you do not need constant activity to feel worthy, that your value is not measured by how much you achieve, and that you are not falling behind simply because life has slowed down. This resilience carries into every area of your life. When storms come, you no longer panic because you know how to be still. When uncertainty arises, you no longer crumble because you know how to sit with it. Stillness teaches you that peace is not found in the absence of chaos, but in your ability to remain centered within it. The world may tell you that stillness is wasted time, but the truth is, stillness is where transformation begins. Think of the caterpillar inside its cocoon. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But within that stillness, everything is changing. The same is true for you. Your seasons of stillness are where your transformation takes place, where the old parts of you dissolve and the new parts are born. When you emerge from that stillness, you are not the same. You are stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your path. Embracing stillness requires trust. Trust that life is not passing you by. Trust that progress is happening even when it is invisible. Trust that the universe is still moving even when everything feels paused. Stillness is not a void. It is a sacred space where the invisible becomes visible and where the unseen becomes seen. It is not the end of your journey. It is part of your journey, the part that prepares you for what comes next. The lessons learned in stillness are the lessons that sustain you in motion. The patience you build in silence gives you strength in action. The clarity you gain in pause gives you direction in movement. The healing you experience in waiting gives you resilience in pursuing.